Assalamualaikum, and today I want to present about assignment on sustainable fisheries and community livelihood. Local codes of practice in fisheries or Fisheries Act. This implies the practices and procedure or standard for preventing the fish mortality or the harmful changes, destruction or disruption of habitat in fish. This local code implement the efforts to cooperate with the Fisheries Act regulation for protecting fish and fish habitat. This helps to prevent the fish death and the damaging change, disruption or destruction of fish habitat. The primary source of technical assistance on the capture, processing and handling and also commercializing of fish and fish product also has been focused in local codes of practice. The different types of fishing vessel accounting for the local economic condition, environmental factors, and the varieties of the capture or harvest fish and sell fish. This can certify that goods sold on domestic or international markets adhere to international regulation. The ecosystem approach to manage the fisheries in Malaysia. First, it is a fishery management approach that focuses on the target species and suggestion in sustaining environmental, human and social. It is an integrated management strategy that encourages the preservation and sustainable exploitation of the entire ecosystem throughout the coastal, marine areas and their natural resources. The fishery management must be consistent practice, with the management practices should be consistent with how the resources are distributed throughout all relevant jurisdiction and management plans. By maintaining some elements of the conventional management and target species, stock assessment frequently used to inform the decision making, whereas the method is suitable for multi-species, multi-gear fisheries because this lack of the effect of other users and industries. Moreover, due to the lack information about ecosystem, the precautionary principle should be used. An understanding of the species and trophic relationship is used when approaching fisheries from the ecological perspective. This enables coordinated efforts to preserve ecosystem, health and exploit the abundant supply of the living marine organisms. It is important to maintain the ecological linkage between harvest, dependent and related species. The implementation excellent governance by reaching an agreement over the procedure for establishing rules and regulation. With this help of the agency and stakeholder partners in a collaborative process that increase acceptance, integrity and accountability to support the sustainable management of fisheries and the ecosystem. When advancing toward ecosystem approach fishery management, it is critical to create institutional framework that enable acceptable scientific policy and society that interaction. This to make it easier for stakeholders to participate in advisory procedure. Stakeholders offer the experience-based information to the discussion and ask for forum where scientific knowledge can be discussed in order to address complex trade-offs in a complex socio-ecological context. Including stakeholders in an iterative approach that guarantees the cooperation balance, the push and pull between science and policy. The Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries. It is international guidelines and codes of conduct to guarantee the efficient protection, development, and management of freshwater and marine aquatic life. CCRF takes into account the necessity to preserve biodiversity as well as the effect of fishing and ecosystem on each other. The organizational framework has been established effectively on attaining a sustainable fishery and aquaculture resources. This addresses all elements of fishery management and development. It's structured in the part on the international law, where CCRF is optional. The code expressed in the international agreement and consists on a number of fisheries and aquaculture-related topics. It is highlight to the value of the fishery in terms of nutritional economics, society and environment, and also culture. The importance of CCRF is where to ensure the fishing operation, including the fish facility and gear, are safe and it can be used sustainable. and then it conduct program to increase fishing communities' understanding of the rights by supporting fishery stakeholder and association. This improving food security too and nutrition of fishery resources, especially on the economic efficiency. CCRF established in a conservation and rehabilitation activity to retain the fishery stock in future. It also provides the business development to produce additional incomes, especially among small-scale fishermen. This shows that it spread awareness among fishermen and local community too. The next is about fishery resources management in socio-ecological system. So the management plan is comprised all of the led to significant advances used to accomplish the fishery biological, ecological, economic and social goals. The scientific literature identified that trade, relationship and local fisheries access to sizable market as crucial element for social ecological consequence. A comprehensive understanding of the multidimensional nature of real-world socio-ecological change cannot be gained through evaluation of single dimension of change, such as decreasing stock or social disparities among stakeholders in the fisheries, even though they are capable of analyzing correlation. System change is more frequently the result of the complicated combination of variables that operate at several levels and across various sectors to achieve specific results. Empirical and fishery economics are the two topics that social ecological system scientists that investigate more frequently. The connection between trade and fisheries from the theoretical perspectively. There are three key ideas that used to understand how social ecological systems that respond to change, which are resilience, vulnerability, and adaptive capacity. Despite having their origin in several domains, these ideas are frequently utilized as lens to examine the connection between the among social and ecological system. There is a scientist by Gallopin saying that non-trivial connection between resilience, vulnerability, and adaptive capacity. There is no agreed upon definition of this concept in the social and natural science. Furthermore, research find that there are very few research in our sample have truly combined the social and ecological elements to investigate the such couple system. These two facts inform the choice of the approach resilience, vulnerability, and adaptive capacity as related. The ecological system resilience reflects how its constituent parts react to environmental changes. For example, the number of linkage in the ecosystem food web, species sensitivity to contaminants or change in temperature, the ability of marine ecosystem to store carbon, the capacity of a social system member to self-organize, learn, and adapt determine the system resilience. It also makes use of formal community planning or social ties to endure the despite disturbance like flooding or dwindling fish stock. It is becoming more and clearer that resilience is a dynamic and multifaceted idea in the socio-ecological system. A resilient system is the one that can react to various likely events as well as plausible ones or significant uncertainty and adjust for the better. The comparison on the fishery resources management issue in a socio-ecological system by context globally, I focus on United States and Canada. So United States have fishery ecosystem plans which focus on ecological principles, and their regulation is about for fishery management plans, and then the fishery ecosystem plans and each council will be construct ecosystem-based fishery management activities. These collect data on the interaction between the fish stock and marine environment. The statement using a triple bottom line create a larger, more active community of stakeholders, scientists, and managers in order to enhance the fishery management that fishery ecosystem plan can increase the public trust. Meanwhile, in the Canada, they use ecosystem-based or integrated management system, which highlighted the publication of the number of additional framework, decision support tools, and indicator scorecards. The Canadian Fishery Research Network may use 12 framework and with 10 goals of social ecological system. By this, they collab with a FAO framework to sustainable development supply sustainability indicator for the fishery broadly. So this is the framework that has been used for social ecological approach for fisheries in Canada. Next is about the expression my opinion on fisheries management issues that near me regarding fish landing port and how to make it better. My first point of my opinion is using of sustainable fish gear and technique to improve fishery income. And then the government need to limit the fish operation and license for fishermen which sustain the fishery resources by time to time. Then application of insurance of fishing vessel, equipment and fishermen are needed. Next is more educational and sociable activity based on sustainable in fishery should be increased to attract as educational purpose. And lastly, my point is the transdisciplinary approach emphasizes inter-stakeholder collaboration and development of direct data feedbacks. So I will explain briefly about my points. The first is about using sustainable fish gear and technique to improve fishery outcome, where traditional method may adapt the fishing practice which continually capture and sustain the population of fish. The use of rods and reels method create in the various shape and sizes to capture the target. The various rod and reels can catch pelagic fish like sailfish, bottom-dwelling fish like flounder, and freshwater species like catfish and trout. This produce less bycatch, since non-targeted species can be instantly released. The next point is about the government need to limit the fish operation and license of fishermen which to sustain the fishery resources by time to time. A management strategy regarding restriction of fish effort is the fishery comprehensive licensing policy. The fishermen transformation program, which is a major goal, is to the transition small scale and government and dependent fishermen into big scale and less relevant fishermen. Loan to assist the acquisition of vessel and other fishery technology make efforts to encourage coastal fishermen to engage in deep sea fishing activities. Next is the implication of insurance of fishing vessel, equipment and fishermen are needed. The danger associated with capture fishery involve a number of things: loss, damage to fishing vessel, equipment and gear in use, loss of catch and maritime fatalities. This hazard risk implicit to maritime fishing activity which they have had numerous economic repercussions recently. The dangers connected with the fish in marine setting, especially mariculture, which are disease occurrence, climate change, ensuing weather condition, harmful algal bloom, and other natural calamities. Despite the previous situation, Malaysia instituted a framework for addressing risk and uncertainty in the marine fishery and mariculture sector has been severely inadequate. The powerful measure to confining and mitigating a wide range of hazards, including asset risk, production and management risk, market risk, and personal and also health risk, insurance is the one of the most extensively utilized method for the risk management. With a local exception, insurance in the fishery industry is significantly underutilized as compared to the other agriculture subsectors in the nation, making it unavailable to the vast majority of the stakeholders. Despite this, the fishing industry across the nation is requesting more risk management solutions. Next point is the more educational and social activity based on sustainable in fishery should be increased to attack as educational purpose. This helped to create the jobs in nation and boost the gross domestic product. The government should create an integrated network for promoting fishery-based ecotourism. This benefit relevant private sector business like fishermen, boatmen, tour operators, lodging establishment, and transporting companies. It must take into account the interests of the local population in the terms of creation of jobs, business possibilities, education and infrastructure development. Understanding how tourism and fisheries are related to run is also of utmost importance. It is recommended specific action to increase social ecological resilience at the community level. It also creating community networks, creating community infrastructure, updating current rules and regulation, giving fisher alternative ways to make money during their time crisis, such as after natural disaster like cyclones and flood. This also actively dividing the management of fishery-based ecotourism between stakeholders and the government. The last point is about a transdisciplinary approach of FIS, inter-stakeholder collaboration, and development of direct data feedback. This could encourage the adoption of the technology advanced data system by ensuring that all fishery stakeholders profit from better data. The adaptive responsive decision-making that enable through a new approach to the fishery data system. This will lower costs and encourage innovation to expand data coverage, accuracy, and resolution. A one-way information flow from fisher to manager can be changed into first, a cooperative mutual beneficial cycle of data collection and synthesis. Second, sharing by using technology to increase the distribution. And third is accessibility of data to fishers. This enabling them to optimize their fishing based on the best information available. The use of high-tech fishery independent data system is still the exception rather than the rule. Despite the growth of efficient, cost-effective technology and potential of the technology to fulfill the data demands in fishery management. So this is my reference, and thank you.